Allow me to briefly interrupt your 4th of July barbecue planning to give you a readout on the health of the climate of our one and only Earth at this year's midpoint. If you had to guess, just off the top of your head, what is the hottest June in recorded history, what would you say? If you guessed this past June in the year 2019, you would be right. Hottest June we've ever had in recorded history. A heat wave across Europe is right now setting record temperatures. France recorded its hottest day in history on Friday, 113 degrees Fahrenheit in one town in particular. There have been wildfires in Spain and Germany, with heat records in Poland, the Czech Republic, and Switzerland as well. Reservoirs and lakes in India, captured by satellite imagery, are literally shrinking, including this reservoir shown here in images from February and June of this year alone. That's like 5 months. And that is the main supply of drinking water for India's 6th largest city, Chennai, home to more than 4 million people. In Guadalajara, Mexico, a freak storm dumped up to 3 feet of hail. While Greenland ice sheets are melting so fast and bringing with them so much sand, as melting glaciers do, there is now serious consideration being given to mining the sand from the glaciers as a business opportunity, because the world is low on sand, which is used in concrete. Increasingly, the world is low on ice, but I guess that's another matter. Oh, and there's a giant heat dome covering Alaska, risking record-breaking temperatures this week. So that's the bad news. The good news, I guess, is that all of this that we're seeing is actually penetrating the consciousness of Americans, despite the juvenile and destructive lies of the president and the fossil fuel industry. Latest data from Yale's Climate Polling Project, which is the gold standard on these things, shows that more than half of Americans think global warming is harming their local community. 57% think fossil fuel companies bear either a moderate amount or a great deal of responsibility for it. Climate is right now climbing up the priority list of Democratic primary voters, and tellingly, the president himself is, somewhat preposterously, going to give a speech on Monday about, quote, America's environmental leadership. That is, obviously, a ridiculous undertaking, fresh from the G20, in which the U.S. once again refused to sign on to the climate portion of the joint communique. But what's fascinating about it is that he even feels the need to make the effort at a speech at all. Public opinion on this question is on the right side and is moving inexorably in an even better direction. And the more pressure politicians feel to act with the historic urgency required, the better. So if you care about this, then don't let up. Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me, or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.